Hello world, this is Shruti Pandey, and today it's an amazing honor and pleasure for me to host Atanu sir, who is the head of digital healthcare for L&T. Thank you so much, sir, for giving me a time today. It really means a lot.
Hi, Shruti. Good afternoon to you. It's my pleasure.
So I have created three questions for you. With your due permission, should I start asking them?
Absolutely. Please go ahead.
So, if anyone would just go on LinkedIn and see your profile, it's really massive. You have tons of experience. You have done so many things, and when I got you on the podcast, I had to ask you this question because sometimes I feel these days we have exhausted our list of innovation or creating something which is actually meaningful and solving a problem. I'll just say out loud, in my personal experience, I feel there are more things coming up which are creating problems rather than solving. So, giving the pretext to my question, I want to understand from you, do you think we still have any scope of genuine or innovation in technology space, or have we actually exhausted that list?
No, sure. I think good question, Shruti. You said that we are innovating so many things, but it's creating more problem than solving problems. See, it's all because it's up to us. How do we use technology? Isn't it like when we got into nuclear science, the objective of the scientists were to use for good for humankind, right? But look at what we did with that. But having said that, technology is evolving and it will keep evolving. Look at past when nobody thought about mobile phones, and the mobile phones came in and actually took over many other industries, especially the camera industries. Or you look at the digital camera, right? Previous that film-based camera, and we know a very famous case study where a very big company went out of the game, though they invented digital camera much before anybody else. They thought it will not be adapted. They didn't go there. So this innovation will keep happening. Uh, right now, the industry being disrupted by AI. Everybody is talking about AI, Gen AI, LLM, and stuff like that, right? If you look at AI history and read through it, AI is not new. It was invented decades ago. But why it couldn't flourish? It couldn't flourish because we didn't have the computing power that was needed for effective AI to do the computation. It requires huge computing power, right? That's where when the high computing computers came into picture, and now that quantum computer is becoming really big. Who knows, the power of AI will create what else for us. And we are also looking at various other technology area like biotechnologies, space exploration. These will bring in lot more innovation. And lastly, human creativity, right? Human creativity has no bound. Today we have something, tomorrow leveraging that we look for something more. So definitely it's not an end. Technology horizon and innovations are very vast area. I don't think we are done yet. We are far from being done actually. So as we embrace our curiosity, we start exploring the unknowns and keep pushing the boundaries. New things will keep coming up.
I appreciate your optimism, and sometimes it's like we as engineers are trained to be practical and logical, and not just technology. Sometimes I feel in general after the pandemic, if I look at music or any sort of art and creativity, like you rightly mentioned, everything is creativity. I find even
Yep.
coding as creativity, but
Yep.
there's nothing which is like new. But I think
Hmm.
you circle back to a very important point when you said AI is not something new. It was
Correct.
here very many years back, but we are just
Yep.
talking about it so much right now. And again, like
Yes.
you rightly mentioned, the innovation that happened many years back, the company probably went away with the digital camera. Had it not been for that, I wouldn't have been recording these many podcasts,
Exactly.
sitting virtually with
Exactly.
people. It's the camera. It is a lot many
Yep.
technologies which came into picture. So thank you
Yep.
so much for reviving my hope in technology and human creativity, really. I
Yep.
also I got the best, lot of questions in my head when I got you as my guest, because there is so much I can ask you, and so many relevant things which I haven't asked before. So
Yeah.
I'm actually happy. And I want to understand one thing. Please uh, take it with all due respect. I know that you have worked with L&T for very many years. Like it is legit, right? It is there on your profile, it is there
Yeah.
as your designation and everything. But my question is coming from, again, giving a pretext. These days there is switches that is happening. If you don't switch frequently, is also taken as a sign that probably you're not good enough. I remember I was working at a bank couple of years back, and people started saying that if we stay at this bank, people are going to think that you're not good coders or not good developers. So
Mhm.
coming from that school of thought, and coming from the Gen Z school of thought of, switching and hopping and everything, moonlighting also perhaps, what has kept you, at the same job, or at the same, not same job, but rather the same organization for all these years? How did you
Yep.
manage to do that?
Shruti, a question very close to my heart, right? It's not the first time I am being asked this question.
Oh,
A lot of people ask me this question. My friends ask me this question. Now, this I there is no one-line answer to it, so it will be a very elaborative answer, Shruti. Look, when and you also brought in the Gen Z part of it, so I'll touch upon on that as well.
sure.
See, uh, the thing that matters to me, and I do believe should matter to all the professional, is how are you growing? No matter you are in the same organization or in a different organization. If you are doing the keep doing the same job in the same organization, or keep doing the same job in every organization you hop into, are you really progressing in your career, right? And also, what matters to you? Does it matter your career growth, or does it matter quick money?
Mm.
What matters to you, right? uh, Now, if I look at myself, why did I stay back in L&T almost 19 years now? Of course, L&T is a great company to be in, and I can keep advertising about L&T. But that's not the thought here. But I would tell you why I stayed here for a long time. Here I got to do what I want to do always, and that what that does mean is it's not only in L&T. I do believe any organization, if you want to do something and that aligns to company's goal, company's future, nobody will stop you, right? It also matters what you want to do, that should be aligned to your company future goals. When that matches, of course, you enjoy your work. You just not look at it at another day. You have the enthusiasm, you have the motivation to do something more. And here again, if you look at my profile as well, I continue to grow within L&T. I have not done one single thing forever. I did switch my job profile from one to another. I moved along. I learned a lot of things. So endless learning, career growth, uh, doing what I want to do, all of that is a factor. A few other things uh, that also matters is, like I spoke about, if you keep hopping from one company to other, what comes to you most of the cases is a bigger pay packet, right? One of the pitfall people generally thinks, if you stay back to a company, you don't grow monetary wise. I don't think entirely true. uh, yes, probably, if I jumped 5 6 different companies, the growth that I have right now would have come earlier. But staying in the same organization, when you grow, you actually don't miss out on anything. Career growth, monetary growth, everything comes to you. uh, Another part also is, some people I have seen endlessly moving around, and what happens after a few years, you become irrelevant to the any organization. After 7 8 9 job switch that you do in a quick succession, any other company, like if I look at a profile which has switched, say, 8 jobs in 12 years, I will know that if I hire this guy, he will be or she will be with me for 1.5 year, 2 year max. I don't want to invest to a person like that, right? So people actually lose their relevancy in the market. uh, we spoke about Gen Z as well. When we started, coming from a very humble background, we had no other choice than getting and devoting ourselves into work. And we actually worship work, like, whatever came to us, long hours, we spent learning things, we enjoyed.
Yes.
But what I see right now, the focus is very different. Like our new generation that are coming up, their priorities are very different, and nothing wrong in it. Everybody looks at higher education right now. They look for working for a couple of years, then get into some university to do masters or PhDs or something else. They do equally focus on work-life balance. So the priorities are, of course, different, but that doesn't matter that they have to keep hopping, or if they are in the same organization, they will their career will not prosper. Those are myth. Absolutely. So that will be my longish answer.
No, no, this totally helps, sir, because you gave the answer from a very holistic to intrinsic approach. Because if I remember this during the pandemic, where people were going all gaga about, high packages and this, I have seen youngsters like freshers changing job in 6 months. I mean, I remember when I was at my first job at Infosys, people used to think that you need to stay at least for 3 years with one company so that it doesn't reflect badly on your resume. Now people don't think about resume. I mean, there is coming a generation where now people are understanding whatever we are paying for the education, is the education also worth it?
Yep.
And
Yep. Yep.
you hit the chord when you said that we had no other option. I totally, totally resonate with that because, yes, when you are the bread winner for your family, that job matters a lot. So I know many people think that I'm too much about Infosys, but it's my first job. I still have very fond memories for the fact that that's how I flourished. And since it's only the two of us talking and I can use only myself as an example, I have a follow-up question for this one.
Sure. Sure.
You rightly mentioned, about the growth factor, and that's what I see. You have grown in one organization, but it doesn't happen for many people. For
Mhm.
example, if in 12 years I have worked at six different companies, MNCs, banks, and startup, there comes a point where you are like, I'm doing the same thing for a longer time and it's becoming stagnant and I'm not seeing any other growth. So maybe that's how
Mhm.
I can grow. It's not just about money aspect, but actually about the career aspect, right? And
Mhm.
many people
Mhm.
have started to think that way. That am I
Mhm.
growing professionally? And it's a good thing because some years
Mhm.
back people
Absolutely.
weren't thinking about that. So
Yep.
how do I make that thing happen for me? I mean, people who are listening also might be having this question, right? If in the same organization or outside,
Sure.
how did you, or maybe you can give your example, how did you
Mhm.
manage to, find that growth in the same company? Because that is what is required, right, for anybody inside the company or with the switches. How did you manage to
Sure.
do that?
Sure. So, I'll start with a personal example. When I got into L&T, after 6 months of doing something, I moved to a very new job or industry, and I have been put into testing. No offense to all the great testers that are there, but I personally never liked doing testing. So I went to my manager saying that, look, you have put me into testing. I don't like it, but I will do it. And you will not find any fault in my testing work. But please, at one point, give me an opportunity to do development as well. And I didn't stop there. I started doing my own learning. Those days, we were into mobile device programming, small handset, a lot of challenges of low footprint memory, not like Android, iOS devices of current days. So I started learning myself. And there came an opportunity after 6 months where one customer was doing workshop. I was selected that project in that project for a testing job, but the customer themselves suggested that no, Atanu should be part of development job. And then I got that chance. Right while doing that work, I started looking at what next is coming, and then I went ahead and proposed to my organization. We should start looking at that area. Our organization said, go ahead. And we actually, after a few times, got some projects in those area. And who better than me, right? I was the de facto choice. Then came something else. Then came something else. currently I'm into digital health, but before that, I also incubated cybersecurity practice in our organization. And the way it happened, I was in our discussion with our CEO. I told him why security is important. He asked me, "Can you do it? Do you want to do it?" I said yes, and I just started. I was handling a very big organization, like 200 plus people, making big revenue. I was happy in that job. Uh, but I just left it and started with just two members. It was me and two members in my group incubating a new technology business area in our company. So did that. Through this personal experiences or examples, what I'm trying to say here is, it's not that somebody has to give you opportunity.
Yes.
Here, there are so many people waiting to grab the opportunity. So self-learn, finding out what is relevant, and
Right.
going for it is the key here. If you keep doing your day job, that will not yield you
Yes.
what you want to do. It's you to learn and grab the opportunity. That's what matters.
I am extremely, extremely sorry. I'm joining my hands and saying this. I got emotional. I'm not sure if
I
you
could see
noticed or
that.
probably you did.
I could see
I'm
yes.
extremely sorry. I didn't mean to do that, but when and I'm in no comparison to you, sir. You are a senior to me. I respect you with all my heart. But when you started saying your story, your experience, started sharing your journey, it it is so similar to things that I have seen. I was also put into testing. I didn't want to get into testing, but when we are doing B Tech in IT and all of this, all of us think that we will go and start developing something. It doesn't happen that way. And the thing that gets money to most MNCs in India
Yep.
is testing, right? I had so many of my friends who were sitting on bench for at least 9 months after training, and they used to mock at me that, oh, tu to tester hai kya, kuch nahi ye, and all of that. And it used to kill me. And then there came a day when I said to them upfront that my billing is getting you your salaries, so at least I'm doing
Exactly.
something. And after 6 months in my project, I went to my manager and I said exactly what you said, that I can keep doing this, but give me something to code. I have done engineering, and engineering helps you to test. I am not discrediting or taking away the fact, because until unless we understand everything, how can we test from an end
Exactly.
user's perspective? But there's so much you said that reminded me of so many places, so many town hall where I was the one who would raise hand and say that, okay, I'll take this up. And I know it is not easy. The way you said
Yep.
so easily, it is not easy to be that first one jiska sar katega, and then you're having that responsibility on your head. But you're like, okay, let me try something, and finding that in every job or every company, I respect you more, and I salute you, because
Thank you.
I have been in that boat. I know it's not easy. And you did something phenomenal. I think so many people in any workplace, MNC, bank, startup, whatever, what they lack is, raising that hand and saying, I can do something, or let me
Exactly.
try this, or can I do this, or whatever. So, and I don't find that many people still. I don't know what is the problem, but you said something which is close to my heart also. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
No, no,
blind you
absolutely.
this
And
way.
another thing, Shruti, is you have to take risk. You have to take
Yes.
calculated risk. You cannot be always playing safe and want everything in the world, right? No risk, no gain, the famous saying. So, of course,
Yes.
I'm an avid risk taker, have taken many risks throughout my career, and I'll keep taking. But it's not like I'll take risk blindly. It has to be a
Yeah.
calculative risk. So, that's what I would also suggest to all the listeners.
Thank you so much. This entire question, or the two questions I've asked you, wouldn't have been so amazing if you wouldn't have answered so transparently and honestly. I really thank you more for that. And moving on to my final question, and I'm pretty sure people are still stuck and are listening to us when this will go out. Since you mentioned everything so amazingly and detailing all the two questions, I want to ask you one final thing, which is, ever since the pandemic, while there were switches and good opportunities and new startups coming in and stuff, it's I think everything has a curve. Many things started falling flat, many things went away, and there came that season of layoff, which is still not stopping. Let's be honest, it is not stopping. It is
Yeah.
also not going anywhere. So, I find that very weird when people think that employees should stay, but you are okay to lay them off. So, everything is a contrast. But keeping that aside, we know what is going on. Fact is fact. What advice would you have for people given all the market situation? I mean,
Uh,
every layoff is
yeah.
happening, everything is happening. What do you think is the best advice you have for people in general?
So, Shruti, let's look at why this layoff is happening,
Okay.
right? If you look at 3, 4 years ago, when the industry market everything was good,
Mm.
every small big company kept hiring people. They didn't look at whether they really need those people or not.
Right,
And when the time of that great, what do you call, they coined the term, right? Great exit or something. Everybody was looking for job. What
right,
was happening? Every people in outside context, India context, especially in India context, I would say, everybody probably had 5, 6, 7 offers. What they were doing today, if they're in X amount, by the time they join some company, they will get into 6X. They'll get into every offer. They will hike their job or price, and then finally join somewhere at exorbitant salary.
right,
Now look at what they are actually doing. Does it qualify for the salary they are paid to? And I'm not telling that the candidate alone is responsible.
correct,
There has to be a responsible hiring as well from every organization. If
right,
I keep hiring a person uh, who are, say, supposed to do a job which calls for X salary, and I give them X plus 10X, I am doing a very, very irresponsible hiring. And
right,
when the bad time comes, people do realize that yes, I have excess number of people. And what happens? They start cutting job, looking at that salary bracket, right? That is what is happening right now. Uh, so my advice to people would be to stay resilient and adaptable, right? Whatever the situation it is, they have to adapt themselves. They have to keep learning. Learning cannot stop. If I become self-content saying that I have a good job, I have a good pay packet, and I do my day job, currently the industry in such a situation, if you don't learn quick and fast, you
right,
will be eliminated,
right,
right? Uh, One has to continuously cross skill upskill themselves. It's not organization job, it is every individual's job, right? Right now, you have everybody talking about again gen AI, and there are a lot of tools that are coming through gen AI where people are telling that this will take developers job away. That's not true. Developers job are not going to go away anywhere, but what traditionally developers are doing, maybe down the line that will not be relevant, but there will be new work for them,
mm,
right? So they have to adapt themselves for that.
right,
And then, of course, build your network. uh, Network helps. And always, somebody has to remember, if they are into this unfortunate situation, they have to remember that they are not alone. There are many that have gone through this and came back very strong, so they can also do that. So stay hopeful, keep learning, and things will happen. That would be my advice.
that, that was so genuine, and the fact that you explained what is happening, why is happening, it also makes sense because uh, I'm not even sure if I should be saying this out loud. There is something called as ethics, right? If you're switching, if you have a job offer, uh, I can say this upfront for myself. I have always said no to other people approaching me saying I've already accepted. But I know of, peers and friends and colleagues who are like, आज यहाँ पे दिखा दिया और ज्यादा ले लूंगा उधर से ले लूंगा, which is so weird. It's not even about
Yeah,
are you getting the money what you're giving back or whatever, but I find it personally very unethical, to be honest.
exactly,
So I think
exactly.
you stated so many amazing and important point that even the hiring process needs to be, uh, changed in a
Responsible
way that,
hiring.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, like why are we even doing this if people are looking for, okay, यहाँ दिखा दिया वहाँ दिखा दिया. I'm sorry to say this, but yeah, it's a blunt fact. People have done that also, and everything is a cycle, and we are facing all of this. And I think this is the perfect example or advice any could have given on this podcast for such a Difficult question. I'm sorry for asking you all three difficult questions. It's no exam or something, but sir, when I get a person like you, I mean, I was also curious what all can I ask you, right? And it will help everybody and probably me also. So I got a little greedy getting a guest
No,
with your
absolutely. No, it
profile.
was pleasure talking to you. Absolutely.
I really thank you. I mean, I think I can't thank you enough for all this time and all this advice, sir. It was lovely talking to you. Thank you so much. If you have any
Same
parting
here,
thoughts before
Shruti.
we close this, I mean, this is celebrating you, this podcast. So the stage is all
No,
yours.
I think I like the questions, close to my heart questions, especially the second one. Right, very close to my heart. Thanks for asking that. Enjoyed talking to you. And again, I would say, continuing my second question, that doesn't matter you are switching company or you are being in the same company, grow. That's what matters.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think people who are listening, they take this advice back with them. Keep growing. That's important. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Shruti. Nice talking to you.
Same here.